A question that came in on the chat here, maybe we can address that now because I think this happens to everybody, but what do you do when you feel discouraged, and what do you do, and how do you refresh yourself? How do you get that energy and enthusiasm and drive back when you're getting discouraged?
Oh, I love that question. That's beautiful. What would you tell your clients to do? As a life coach, you better have a great big tool bag that you're helping your clients move through that. So think of yourself as your own client. What would you tell a client if they're discouraged? Of course, I have a whole program called Be the Miracle that is full of tools to get past discouragement, get past those down moments as well. But as I said, as a coach, you need to have a tool bag that you're using with your clients and utilize those same things. You've got to treat yourself like your best friend. What would you tell your best friend if your best friend was discouraged? And sometimes it's moving to a different place. Not like moving, but get out of your office, go for a walk, go do something that distracts your mind. That's the first place to start, is to get out of that rumbling mind that goes on in your head. So remember, I talked about the mini-me voice yesterday and how that can really bring us down. So you really need to have some tools. One tool that I love to teach, it's a success strategy, is when you start feeling discouraged, think about a success that you've had, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with your business. A success that, maybe, so one of my successes was I graduated with a degree in psychology at 45 and was on the President's Honor Roll. And that coming from a C student that got kicked out of high school, went to an alternative school, barely graduated from high school. I went on to go back and, get straight A's and graduate on the President's Honor Roll midlife, right? That's a pretty huge accomplishment. And so once you tap into that success, you're going to just breathe it in, feel it, and go, yes! Because what you need to do when you're feeling that discouragement is you need to change your vibrational energy right away, so that then you can start switching into, okay, so I've changed my vibration. What do I need to change so I'm not discouraged? Do I need to get support? Do I need to go for a walk and just take a breath? Do I need to come back to it tomorrow? So that's one strategy that I use that is really successful. It's a great way to change your vibrational energy from discouragement to feeling some success.
Okay, great answer. Thank you for the question.
Absolutely. I love questions. Bring them on. And so we talked about the driving force behind why you became a life coach and what market you want to serve. When you look at your skills, your experience, your knowledge, who is the best market for you to serve? Who do you want to work with? Whose lives do you want to change? What are they struggling with? What are their challenges? You really need to tap into what their challenges are. What's the focus behind that? And why do you want to serve them? Going back to your purpose. Why do you want to serve that market? What's your bigger overall life purpose? What's your business purpose? And how are you going to serve those clients? Again, what's your skill set? You've got to look at what your skills are, and are my skills going to serve that client? So if you have skills in, say a lot of your skills are in working with people that have gone through a divorce, and you decide that you want to be a career coach, maybe you don't have the skills to be a career coach. Maybe you've been an entrepreneur all your life, or maybe you were a stay-at-home mom and now you want to help people in their careers, which is a life coaching opportunity as well, yet you've never worked out in the workforce. So do your skills really match being a career coach? You've got to look at that. What life coaching training do you have? What did you learn? Did you do life vision type, get your dreams type coaching, or was it specific to NLP, or was it specific to maybe life coaching and hypnosis. So what life coaching program did you go through? My life coaching program was geared specifically towards fitness trainers and bringing a life coaching and leadership aspect to fitness trainers. So that was the first life coaching program I went through, and it was really to teach fitness coaches to bring the life coaching into their practice. And so look at what your coaching program was. What's your education in coaching, and how are you going to do that? And then the big one is, will that target market, will they pay you to help them with their pain or their problems? I've talked to a lot of people in the healing industry and in the coaching industry that want to help, women in poverty. Noble goal, but do they really have the money to pay you for your coaching services? So the idea is it's not to not work with them, but who's the target market that you can use your skills with that can pay, and then you use that to fund more the volunteer part of your business, right? So it doesn't mean that you can't work with them, but as you're building a business, you've really got to focus on those that have the financial ability and have the desire and would be willing to pay for what you're doing. You can go out and figure out where the money is and serve that market, but if your heart's not there and your skills aren't there, there's going to be a big disconnect between the heart and the mind, and that's going to affect your results, and that's going to affect theirs. So if you're passionate about a market and they won't pay, you can't survive in business. So there needs to be a good balance between heart and mind, passion and profit. And so as you're outlining who your niche is, you really need to make sure that not only can you serve them, but they can also serve your business by paying for what you're worth, basically. So what is a niche? How do you figure out your niche? So a niche is just that more detailed, narrow market that you're going to serve. So here's just some areas that you can serve. And in life coaching, it's just vast. It's just vast. There's so many areas that you can specialize when it comes to life coaching. So you can specialize with divorced moms. So Aleph, her target market is younger moms that have kids that have gone through a divorce and they're kind of lost, and they need to get back on track. You can serve divorced women that are in midlife, that are starting over again midlife without their partner and going through the second half of life without anyone, and their kids are gone. So there's all kinds of areas you can focus in there. You can focus on working moms, career. You can focus on being a career coach. Career coach is a life coach, because isn't your career part of your life? Just like you could almost say business coaching is a life coaching process as well, but you're focused specifically on the business. So career coach, there's relationship coaches, like Tina is a relationship coach. You could be a dating coach and help people that are single be able to become the person they need to manifest that perfect person into their life. You could be a parenting coach. You could focus on men's issues. I had a client, Ryan, who was a men's coach. He ran a support group, and he also had a group coaching program that he worked with men who felt disempowered in their relationships with women. And so that was his focus, and he had such a great tagline. I'm not going to share it here because it has a word that may be offensive to some people, but it was really about, getting your strength back as a man.
So we have a question in here, and it's, and I think it has to do with you've given a lot of examples and the variety and the really broad spectrum of, how many places you can go in coaching. But it says, how do I get a niche to find me? In other words, I think what they're saying is, what's the process to go through? Is it just something that I'm interested in? Is there a way to, kind of maybe dip my toe in the water here and see, how I feel? How do you find your niche?
Well, there's a lot of ways that you can find your niche. First of all, you got to, as I said, look at what you're passionate about, where your skills are, and the market that you want to serve. And then you got to go out and you got to do some research and development and find out if that target market is willing to pay for your products and services. If you're starting into a life coaching business, you probably have some kind of an idea of where you wanted to go there, how you want to help people survive. You've gone through or thrive in life. You've gone through some sort of coaching program. But a lot of it, and I hate to say this, but it's true in any business, there's a lot of trial and error. And you go out, you try something, if that's not working, you fine tune it, narrower and narrower. So I started, as a fitness coach, and then I started adding lifestyle stuff, and then actually I started doing Reiki energy work, and then I added hypnosis, and then I added fitness coaching, then I added NLP, and then I added life coaching, and so I just kept adding to my practice and trying to narrow down into who my target market was. In my first business, I wasn't very successful because I didn't know what I was doing and about niching. But in my business, I've been a lot more successful by niching that down into, and you can have more than one target market, but you've got to be able to speak to a certain market. And then if you say you're a career coach, but you also want to work with people that are growing a business, and you have skills and tools in that too, then you just speak to that target market a little bit differently. You get one up and running, and then you go with the next. Tina?
Well, kind of to add on to that is how do you find those people then? Once you have your niche, I think that's what the person was asking, was how do I find them? Well, what do they do? What do they like to do? Where do they hang out? Are they quilters? Are they, do they like snowboarding? What are their activities that they enjoy? Join a meetup group that that those people hang out in. Are they bookworms? Do they like book clubs? Just what do they do for hobbies? What does your client do for hobbies? And then go hang out with them. Exactly.
And we're going to be digging into that in the marketing piece as we go in further. And like I said, through this course, this is kind of dynamic. So you might be thinking one thing as I'm talking about niche markets, and then you'll get into the marketing piece, and then you'll go, oh, wait a minute. Maybe this is the group that I want to serve. But I want to go over some more of these, and I hope that answered your question. I hope as we continue going through the class today that you'll get even more clarity on where you find your niche, or how does your niche find you. And we'll be talking about all those marketing pieces, which are how your niche market finds you as well. So we talked about men's issues. We talked about, we haven't talked about spiritual issues, so you can work more on spirituality issues. You might be a healer that does some life coaching as well. A wealth coach, you're working on, how do I create the money consciousness so that I can create greater wealth in my life. Mindset coach, performance coach, fitness coach, wellness coach, lifestyle coach. You could be an accountability coach, life choices coach, how to make better life choices. You could be a money coach. You can work with people on intimacy and sexual challenges that they're having. I have a client that does that. Very powerful, there's so many ways to serve. And like I said, you can niche these niches down even more narrow. So like I said, divorced moms, it could be divorced moms with kids ages 0 to 12. Or you can be divorced moms with teenagers, right? So that's you work with kids younger differently than you do teenagers, right? That's a whole new species, I'll say. If you're a career coach, you can focus on the tech industry. Maybe you're focused on call centers, or maybe the banking industry or the healthcare industry, people that want to move up or move into those careers. Relationship coach, you could focus on empty nesters. What do you do once all the kids leave? How do you reignite that relationship and stay together once the kids are gone, right? Because that's a challenge for a lot of people. Dating, you could focus on young singles. You could focus on single after 40 or single baby boomers, which each of those demographics or generations have specific issues that they're dealing with. Men's issues, perhaps men that have lost custody of their kids, or men over 40, or men going through midlife transformation. It's not a crisis, it's a transformation. And so those ideas go on and on. And again, this is the value of working with a coach or a mentor to really help you get clear on where you're going with your coaching business. So I want you to just think about what came up for you as I was going through that list. I want you to jot down a couple of ideas right now. What areas were resonating with you? Where does your skill set lie? What was your coaching training, and how can you serve a specific market rather than just being a general life coach?